Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Trouble. I'm sure you guys know who this is on the screen. I'm just Demetrius, the coordinator of experiential learning, but we have the Miss Christina Donovan with us today on Good Trouble. So I see we have some people on with us right now. So if you can, please share it not only via phone, but if you have somebody beside you, let them know that we have Christina on today. We're on Good Trouble to talk a little bit about her process while she was a student at Voorhees College and some of the phenomenal things that we're doing right now. So, Good Trouble is a podcast designed to give educational, informative, and engaging information to our students, our listeners, and any constituents that would like to watch this podcast. We want to go ahead and get into it because Christina is a phenomenal person. She is the former SGA president with other titles as well, but I won't even go into none of that because I'm sure your resume is maybe 3 pages at this point. So, Christina, can you please let the people know that are watching and that will be watching and will be listening who you are and who we have on the podcast today?
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Christina Donovan, a former SGA president from 2018-2019, Voorhees College graduate of the pandemic year 2020. And now I am here on Capitol Hill working hard for the people. And yeah.
So a 2020, you said 2020 pandemic graduate, right?
Yep.
Great way to start off the conversation. So let's talk about that really quickly. A 2020 pandemic graduate. How was that going from graduating in an environment where it's the traditional way of inviting family, inviting friends, the gym is screaming, going crazy because you have this degree in your hand. How was that now going from the traditional to the pandemic graduation?
Especially going from graduation 2019, I was really looking forward to having our time to cross the stage. And I was planning a big party. I was inviting folks from New York, everywhere. And people were all excited and asking, when's graduation, blah, 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 blah. So, of course, we didn't have it, but I was fortunate enough to have it on YouTube so that it was even easier to share with my friends and family. And we could always still pull it up.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And so, I know graduation for you probably meant so much because not only were you a student, SBA president, but you were also in honors college.
Yeah, I was ready to rip all my cords, all my stoles. I was officially the first graduating class of the W. Franklin Honors College.
Whoa.
Because we had the medallions, we had the stoles, we had the cords. That was the official first. There were, of course, people who had the requirements previous years.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I was in Alpha Kappa Mu, and
just go down the list. Keep going.
Was it Pi Gamma Alpha? Pi Gamma Mu, that is the social justice honors society.
Okay, and you also were a part of a sorority, right?
I am a part of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. My LS is on there, and I'm just so happy. She's graduating this year, so I'm excited.
Okay, so with all of this information that you're sharing, all of these organizations that you've been a part of, all of these roles that you've now been able to assume, tell us about your most memorable one of, or if you have maybe multiple, your most memorable moment at Voorhees College.
Okay, so
as a student, let's say that as a student,
it's a culmination of a few, but my biggest one was joining Honda Campus All-Star Challenge. Our coach is the now interim president, Dr. Ronnie Hopkins, and between him and Mr. Wright dragging me into the first practice, and I ended up being stuck, and that was January of 2018, and then we ended up going to the NQTs. Was it January? Yeah, I think it was. Then we ended up going to the NQTs, which is the National Qualifying Tournament, and that was at Virginia Union. And then we went to California in April for our championship. we were a part of the national championship tournament, which was an amazing time. It was 48 different HBCUs represented and graduates of HBCUs that were there. It was, and we even got to go on the Honda campus and
Mm.
meet people who work on Honda, um, and also who are like VPs of Honda, American Honda. That was like one of the most amazing times. And I was
Wow.
even got to go in 2019. So
So wait, give me 1 second. Take me back, right? Because people listening may be hearing you say HCAS, but they may not know what exactly HCAS does and why you were in California and why you met 40 or 50 other HBCUs. What is HCAS and what does HCAS do?
HCAS is the Honda Campus All Star Challenge, and it is sponsored by American Honda, and it is part of the National Quiz Bowl
Mm.
entity. So this is the HBCU branch.
Okay.
Honda also sponsors Battle of the Bands. And so
Ah.
this is one of the ways that they're able to give back to us. And actually, this will be the 31st year of HCAS coming live. And it used to be on BET back in the day.
Oh wow.
So, and then I hear that you're the new assistant coach.
No, no,
Oh,
just one of them amongst the other great coaches. I'm
okay.
just in
One
the
of the new
vicinity.
ones. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
just in the vicinity. That's all.
Oh.
So I know you said that Mr. Wright drugged you and Dr. Hopkins pulled you. So what made you want to become a part of HCAS though?
Well, just like the environment when we were doing our training, it was fun. It's educational at the same time. But it was mostly a lot of fun and the competitive nature. My teammates back then graduated. Um, well, Tariana and Nick graduated in 2018, and then Donovan and Joe graduated in 2019. So that was like
Right.
our main team at that point in time. And Kiana Glover was part of it. And so it was an amazing time and amazing camaraderie then. And even now, it's, well, 2019, it grew. Our coach was Dr. Henby, and we had like a strong structure and a strong bond, and we were able to do more traveling and do scrimmages with Tuskegee and Claflin and Benedict, and it was just an amazing time to be together.
So HCAS was before SGA or after or
It
during?
was before and after, well, before and during, yeah,
Okay. So
and
let's so
after, because it's always friends for life.
okay. So you're still a part of HCAS right now. Is that what you're
Technically,
saying?
I am. I actually volunteered at the national qualifying tournament that happened 2 weekends ago, and this weekend is actually going to be the Sweet 16, where they are going to finalize who will be playing in the championship.
Okay, so let's do a quick commercial here, if you don't mind. This commercial is on behalf of HCAS per Voorhees College. Christina, if you can just give the people 30 seconds, the students here that may be interested in HCAS or they may not know about it, please tell them why they should join. This commercial is on you. I'm going to remove myself, and so we're going to give you your 30-second commercial.
Okay. Hey, everybody, you should join Honda Campus All Star Challenge team at Voorhees College. It is your HBCU quiz bowl, and it's your time to shine. And I hope that you can have a friend for life, and me and everybody else you meet in this environment. There you
That was the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge commercial brought to you by Christina Donovan. She was a former member of the team here at Voorhees College. We're going to continue through our conversation today. So let's talk about now you being the SGA president. So you go from Honda Campus All-Star Challenge team to now being the SGA president for Voorhees College. What was that like? What made you run for that?
So, the past SGA president, who was Veltika Wright,
Okay.
she kind of inspired me to join, well, SGA. It was going to be something. In between talking with her and then Miss Voorhees, Terriana McCullough, and of course Mr. Wright, I decided to run. And so I was able to represent Voorhees. I was able to represent the place that I love and I hope that everybody else loves. And so it was just an amazing experience that I decided, let me put my words into action.
So did you jump from like a non-member of SGA to SGA president, or were you a part of SGA at some point and then you kind of matriculated up into that role?
I was a non member, but I was active on campus. So it was as if I had the leadership experience that was needed
Right.
and required, but at the same time, I wasn't doing as much with SGA because I had just transferred to
Mm.
Voorhees my sophomore year. So it was, and I was actually one of the first um, juniors to become SGA president.
So tell me this as a transfer student, because I was a transfer student too when I was attending South Carolina State. Was it intimidating at all to now come into an institution, look at the culture, and then go from transfer student to SGA president? Was that intimidating at all?
Um, Not necessarily. Between my professors, Mr. Smith, who was almost Dr. Smith, um, Miss Mrs. Jamie Bradford Kennard, who is also almost doctor, I believe, they were really pushing me to be involved, whether
Right.
it was from Mass Communication Club, within the radio station, within NAACP on campus and whatnot. They were like, Christina, you should become active, acclimate yourself with the campus, do what you can. I even was in gospel choir for a little bit, and I was in trio, a SSSP member. So like, it was for me to come in and feel comfortable. I was involved in a lot,
Hmm.
and for some that is a bit too much because of burnout. But I was able to kind of stretch myself um, a little bit.
Got you. I see Miss Jefferson just shouted you out. So look at our trio SSSP alumni member, Christina. She says they still love you and they admire you and all that you're doing.
Love y'all
Continued success.
too.
So let's give some insight for the transfer student that's coming to Voorhees, that's making Voorhees their home now, but they don't know how to necessarily figure out their right step from their left step. But I think you can give some great advice to say that maybe you need to be around mentors or people that can help you cultivate your experience. So what would you say to a freshly transferred student that's coming from another institution?
Definitely come in with an open mind because, especially for me coming to Voorhees from PWI, I was not necessarily used to the HBCU experience where it is a family culture
Yeah.
more so than, you're just a number. Also, for us in Voorhees, we are in a very rural area and there's not that much around us, but within our community, there can be so much more. But you have to be open and willing to be a part of it and not push yourself back.
Yeah.
My line sister, I used to drag her with me everywhere I went, um, and she enjoyed it. And now she has like memories that she might not necessarily have had before if she wasn't being dragged with me.
Mm.
So and also take time to learn your campus, learn the history of Voorhees College. It's not that often that we get to be in such a sacred place and to understand where we were and where we are now. So
Yeah. So question, since you talk about people being able to know the history, what part of Voorhees College history resonates with you the most?
the fact that this 23-year-old Black woman in late 1800s was able to found an institution
Yeah.
that in itself, she kept trying. She persevered. If you listen to Mr. Reed all day, like I can sit and talk to him all day about
Yeah.
what has happened and what is to come. And so just thinking about that, especially for the fact that our seniors, by the time they're graduating, they're 22, 23, you have that experience and you're that one person that can change entire people's lives. Like, look at all the alumni that we've had from the high school to now. And that one woman who was sickly and was able to provide so much space and place for us, like, that's amazing. And honestly, I used to go and take my little pilgrimage to her gravesite.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just a Founders Day thing. It was, when I'm feeling kind of low, I'm like, okay, let me go see what Elizabeth got to say and just
Wow.
meditate right there.
Wow. So you were on the choir, NAACP, SGA president, and Zeta or Zeta HCAS. I think I don't have enough fingers at this point because you've done so much. Not only did you do all of that, but you are part of the WVCD radio station. How was that experience? Because I know you're a mass comm major, and so I'm pretty sure that that really helped you kind of have that hands-on experience, right?
It was definitely fun. So I started interning when Mr. Clarence Jones came.
Okay.
And so he was trying to reconfigure the station a little bit and before we became an FM station also.
Mm-hmm.
So what he used to have us do was do the commercial breaks. So we would record and learn how to do the soundboard. And that in itself was an experience. And then when he taught a radio class later on, I think that was 2019. And so I was so excited because then it was a different aspect of learning about the radio, the historical aspect, like where he has traveled from in his career. He actually used to work in one of the biggest radio stations in New York.
Mm.
And to have that experience in front of you and somebody that you can talk to about like how they've come and progressed and now where they are and they're able to give you their wisdom, that's amazing experience.
Yeah. So let's talk about really quickly because I see our time is coming near. But as communication majors, we see that you were able to transition in from an intern with the the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. So you go from Voorhees communications major to intern, not only to intern but working in the area, right? How was that whole transition to make that happen?
So with the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, they've had two internships. One is a legislative internship and one is the communications one. And I was fortunate enough to become in the communications one, which was sponsored by State Farm.
Yeah.
So with that, they placed you, there was 25 of us, and they randomly placed you in offices. And so I got placed in this office with an amazing team, an amazing member of Congress, and I started working really hard and asking, where do you need me? What can I do for y'all? And so at that point in time, I started learning different aspects of the office and the congressional flow of things. And it was just, that in itself was an experience. And I was doing this while I was finishing my last year of college. And
Wow.
then they offered me to stay another semester for my fellowship. And with that, it was in the middle of COVID, but I had more responsibility and I was tasked with a little bit more things. And even now, at that during the fellowship time, I was inputting information because this is now appropriations time. So this is when organizations and offices lobby for Congress to give them money, basically. So I was just inputting that information then. But now I'm a staff assistant and legislative correspondent in the same office that I've been for over a year. And now I'm writing these letters to then send out to other offices, say, hey, would you like to help us support this entity so that people are able to get money to fund their programs and other things that Congress is giving? Like, this is it's amazing just to be able to transition and even to see my physical growth within everything. Like, it's an opportunity that I hope that other students can have.
That sounds really great. So let me ask this question because you said something very powerful as you started talking about your experience. Now, you said that before you started the job, you said, hey, what can I do for you? Where do you all need me? How can I be an asset? And I think a lot of times students, they graduate from college, and rather than figuring out what a company needs for them, they market or brand themselves to showcase their strong suits, but not showcase them in a way where the company says that this is how we can use you. How important, Christina, is it for that question to be asked before you go in there and like plunging in, thinking that this is what they need? How important is it as a company? Hey, what do you need from me? How can I help your program be more successful?
Each environment is different, and so their needs, even though on paper it might look like one thing, it's not necessarily what they actually need.
Yeah,
And so asking that question also means that you care enough about your growth and the growth of the company
great
so that
answer.
you can kind of fill in the gaps of where there's missing, because there might be strengths that you have that you might not necessarily know of
Yeah,
that can be built on by just you asking that question.
yeah,
And so it's honestly showing those little things and the little parts of initiative that also shows your value to the company, so that they might actually say, hey, okay, we want to give you a raise, we want to give you promotion, okay, you're worth building, you're worth being taught and be
mm,
grown. Like, it's not that you just come into a company just to sit and do the work. You know, you're supposed to grow and you're supposed to experience more things so that you're at, by the time you leave, you're at a place where, okay, I'm ready for the next step.
yeah. What makes a company? You said a lot of great things, but what makes a company say about an employer that you're worth investing in? Like you said earlier, or you're worth being taught. What type of attributes can a person showcase for an employer to say that about them?
Initiative is a huge one. Just because you're sitting there looking bored, they're
Yeah,
going to notice that.
right.
Um, do it. If you see something that's missing, fill in those spots. Respect your colleagues, just because, or even teach them if they have questions about something around you, that you might not have the answer to, but they might not necessarily know.
Yeah,
Being able to learn from your mistakes and taking criticism. Don't take it harshly, but because they're telling you something to help you fix it.
yeah,
And definitely, respectability politics is a huge thing, but at the same time, um, it's not a negative thing unless you make it a negative thing. But fitting into the place where you're working, in to an extent, because of course we all have our individuality, but to an extent is understanding that you're in a position and you might not necessarily know everything in that position, but you definitely don't know what's going on above you.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you have a question, ask, but don't be like, I know everything, because
yeah.
that's not going to help anything.
Wow. I see we're right at our time, Christina.
Ooh.
I don't want to hold you up at all. But just one more question, because you're saying so much good information, and I think students will be able to gain something from this. But uh, you saying that it's important to have those attributes in the workplace. How important is it for students to take initiative, to be respectful, to respect their colleagues, like right now? All of what you just said, how important is it to do that right now so that it translates to where you are right now?
It's huge, because those peers that you have that are sitting next to you, and even those professors can open up doors for you that you might not have ever thought would be open.
Wait, say that one more time because somebody need to hear that.
Those doors that you thought were never going to open, those professors can open them for you. Your peers that are sitting next to you can possibly your boss in a couple years. So there's
Wow.
times when you might not feel comfortable around people, or you might be in a bad mood, but you don't know what the future is going to hold. You don't know what the possibilities can be, where you can grow and where you will be able to experience something. Literally, if you check your emails every day, you can be traveling the world.
Mm,
If you talk to professors and not just say, oh, can you make my schedule for me? They might be like, oh, this person has initiative and they want to be able to do something. Let's help them out.
Yeah.
Let's find opportunities for you. I used to go and annoy Mr. Mayors about the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation
Shout out to Mr.
internship
Mayers.
until I went and said, hey, Mr. Mayors, guess what? There's a new update. I'm going to go apply. And guess what? He supported me. My professors, Dr. Hemby, administration, listen, just because financial aid sometimes might be in a bad mood doesn't mean that they're not willing to help you if you're willing to help yourself.
Mm,
And that's across the board.
that's
And I'm gonna
really
give a
good.
shout out to everybody real quick because I
There
don't
you
want
go. There
nobody
you go.
mad at me.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Dr. Hemby, Mr. Smith, Mr. Wright, I love you, Mr. Wright. Hey, Dean West, I still love you, even though you owe me mozzarella sticks. Miss Jenkins, um, Dr. Rochelle, Miss Clark, Miss Clutt, all of
Yeah.
y'all in institutional advancement. I love y'all. Admissions, I love most of y'all. It's okay because you know Mr. Do left anyway over there. Well, partially. Mr.
Okay.
Reed, Miss Dr. Herman, all y'all, and Dr. Hopkins.
Got you. All right. So look. So this is my last question, right? You said if a student opens up their email, they'll be able to study abroad or go, across the world to travel. So you actually did that while you were here. And this is my last question. How was that experience and where did you go? How long were you there?
Okay, so we went to Ghana, Accra, Ghana, in summer of 2019. We were there for about 10 days, and it was an amazing experience when, especially from Dr. Mason's, he did an ancestry right before, kind of,
Right.
for
Yeah,
them
yeah.
to
I
come
remember.
back to then go to Ghana and be like, hey, oh my gosh, like this place, I might not necessarily be from here, according to my ancestry, but like just to know that other people in that I'm surrounded by have walked these places, like family members might have walked through here to go to wherever they ended up. Um, just being surrounded by history
Yeah.
and to be around people who might not, we like I said, might not have ever gotten this opportunity to travel,
Yeah.
but because of respect and talking to people and checking your emails, and even I found a family member who lives there, and
Mm,
that was fun because we were able to talk for a few minutes, even though we might not necessarily see each other anytime soon, and just learning about where some of and living
yeah.
out some of the experiences that we've seen and being able to talk to some professors from the University of Ghana. That was amazing. And to find out that one of them actually um, went to Howard. And,
Right.
and so,
Yeah.
like, it's just, and be able to network with other people from students to professors and just across the board. It was just awesome. And
Yeah.
I hope that each and every one of y'all get an experience to travel to the West Coast.
Yeah. All right, so Christina, we want to say thank you, and those that have joined us, that are watching, that are commenting, we want to say thank you so much for joining us. You said so much. There are comments here in the chat saying we love you, thanks, great role model. I mean, you just have people just shouting you out. I'm sure that you'll be able to have cash app requests all over today.
I'll
So
take it.
yeah. So we want to thank you really for coming on Good Trouble. Everybody that's listening, if you want to see more of Good Trouble, we have many videos, and we will be back again next week. So John Lewis said it best. He said, if you're going to get in any good trouble, he said, if you're going to get in any trouble, I'm sorry, make sure you get in good trouble, necessary trouble. And so I believe that Christina has gotten to a lot of good trouble and necessary trouble. She's made change. So thank you for coming on
My
today. We'll see
pleasure.
you all soon. Have a great day.
That'd be great.